Hopefully everybody's having a great day today. I know for those of you guys who've been following this really quick last minute post we put up, this is something that we've been talking about for years that we never really had a chance to, we never really put everything down in order, like all in one spot. I'm kind of giving it to you guys here and there, bits and pieces. So that's what this video is going to be about today. It's going to be all about taking the 5 crucial numbers plus an extra one that I'm throwing at that. I really should have made it 6 crucial numbers, but I put down 5 because the last one, it really does help, but it's not as necessary. I mean, it is, but it's just more for your mental sanity. Because a lot of times what you find out when we go through these numbers, you're going to see what we're talking about here. A lot of times for people, they, is this recording? Yeah, it's recording. Cool. For a lot of times when I start telling people that, we start talking about the numbers they need to be able to change their diet and change their physiques and start getting better results in their workouts. A lot of times for most people, that involves eating more food. And, the last thing that most people want to hear when they're trying to lose weight is, hey, you got to eat more food. And that's a very hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. So, that last number, the 6th number for the 5 crucial numbers, the bonus one, that's really going to be for your guys' mental sanity more than anything else. All right. I'm just going to give it another minute while we wait for people to come in, and we're going to go from there. So I'm just going to drink my little bit of coffee. And guys, listen, after this, if you have questions, I got the chat going right now, but honestly, the chat is kind of like, it lags a lot. So if you guys have questions after this video, or if you're catching the replay right now, for those of you guys who are going to be watching the replay, if you have any questions on this, like about any of the different topics, how to go about getting your numbers established, just anything general about this, you can reach out to us, through DM. You can reach out to us by leaving a comment in the comment section below, text messaging us, emailing us. Most of you guys have all my contact info. I feel like my contact info is out all over the place. But like I said, if you have any questions on this, because this is going to be a lot of new stuff for a lot of you guys. And for some of you guys, it's going to be stuff you heard before, but you never really knew how to pull these numbers from. If you have questions on this, the biggest thing I'm going to tell you is that, and you hear me say this all the time, myself and the team of coaches we have at Jason Fitness, like, we're here to help you as much as you let us. So if you have questions, but you don't ask us, we're never going to know, right? All right. So without any further ado, we are going to jump right into this. I'm sure we're going to get a couple stragglers coming in late, but you guys can always pick up as we go. All right. So today we're going to talk about the 5 crucial numbers you need to know to lose 22 pounds in 90 days. For those of you guys who, like I said, who are following along, over the past 6 months, I've been working on a lot of computer stuff to, just build the back end stuff to really help take the business to the next level. And, my own personal workouts have suffered a lot, one, for that reason, but then also because I've been dealing with a ton of these different back injuries and just, lower back pain that I've just acquired over the past couple of years. I kind of really limited my workouts. So about 3 months ago, my back, I started doing some stuff. I started feeling better. And I said, fuck it. You know what? Let me just increase my own activity and just maintain. And I wasn't going in looking to make any kind of huge differences. I was just looking to go in and not be a fat bastard and to practice what I preach to you guys. Right. And then about a week ago now, I went to go step on the InBody just like everybody else. I was dreading it. And, just looking to see where I was at, what kind of difference I was making. And, from one sheet to the next, I'm going to show you both the sheets in a second. The difference was like mind blowing. I was like, oh my God, like, where did this come from? And it was like a 22-pound swing that I made in my routine. So I went back and I looked at my notes because, I do all the stuff I tell you guys to do. I track all my food, I track my macros, I track my workout calories, all that stuff. And what I realized is that all I was doing was following the same basic principles we share with you guys time and time again, and just gave it the time to do its job. And I got to tell you right now, like, I definitely wasn't depriving myself. I definitely wasn't starving myself. I definitely wasn't killing myself in the gym. I wasn't slacking off, but I wasn't, I wasn't destroying it. I had days where I had to miss and take off and, wasn't feeling too great one day. So I missed that one and then had to do some stuff for the kids. So we missed that one. So I'm going through the same trials, tribulations, and challenges you guys do. And I still made this kind of difference following these strategies. So like I said, I realized we never put them all down in one place at the same time. in a one-stop, all you can get, document for you guys to see, hey, here's what you need to do. And that's what I wanted to do with this. All right. So without any further ado, we're going to jump right into it. Right. All right, cool. So let's talk about the numbers, right? Let's talk about the 5 crucial numbers you need to know to have success, plus one more that really helps you guys out. So there's really 5 basic numbers, right? They're data points, 5 basic data points that I look at as a coach when we're going through anybody's routine that's trying to come in with any kind of goal to determine what direction you want to take your plan in, right? A lot of people come into our facility from different clubs, different health facilities, different trainers, and they work out and they work out and they work out and they work out, and they never make any results. Or they come into us to say, Jay, I'm eating healthy, but I'm not still seeing progress. Well, the problem there is that, yeah, you're eating healthy, but you're not eating efficiently based on your goals. People's calories are too high. People's calories are too low. They're not eating the right macros, a lot of different stuff. So what we do is we take these 5 different data points right here. We sit down and we look at what's going on. And based on the changes in the data points, that tells us pretty much exactly what we have to do with your program, right? It's simple math. It takes all the guesswork out of it. The problem is most people don't know where to pull these numbers from. All right, so let's go back over these again. So the first one, your BMR, basal metabolic rate. For those of you guys who don't know, your BMR is the total number of calories your body's burning off every day. I'm going to try to get myself inside the screen here. Your BMR is the total number of calories your body's burning off every day to keep you alive, regardless of whether or not you work out. So if you woke up, sat in a chair all day and did absolutely nothing, you're going to burn X amount of calories. As you'll see on one of the next screens, my BMR is somewhere like 2,300, 2,400 calories. That means every day I, at a minimum, am going to burn off that number of calories, right? We'll go over this more as time goes on. Actually, no, I'll stay with you right here and do this, right? So that means at a minimum, for most people, at a minimum, that is the number. I should have done a chart for this. That's what I forgot. All right, I'll do it in the next one. At a minimum, I need to eat those 2,400 calories because that's just a sustained basic life. And I apologize, I should have done a screen on this. But when you look at the total number of calories you guys are burning off every day, right? And the numbers are going to be a little different for everybody because people live different lifestyles, different activity factors, whatever. But over all the calories you're going to burn throughout the course of a day, right? 50% of the calories you're going to burn off come from that BMR. So that means at a minimum, you're going to burn those calories off regardless of what happens, right? And it's only accounting for half of your calories, right? So you have to eat that every day regardless. Then out of the remaining 50% of your calories, like I said, everybody's a little different. Some people have more active jobs. Some people have less active jobs. Some people work out more. Some people work out less. Right around the next 25%-ish of the calories you burn off are going to come from your exercise-based calories, meaning the calories you burn off during exercise, right? So if you don't exercise, the number is going to be closer to 0. If you actually, that's no. I shouldn't say it's no. It's pretty close to 0 though. If you do exercise, it's going to be close to that 25%. If you exercise a lot, or if you do 2 a days, the number might be a little higher, but right around 25% for most people, right? So we got 50% of our calories from our BMR. We got another 25% of our calories from our workout calories, which means we still have 25% of our calories left that are coming from somewhere that's going to get burnt off that we have to account for, right? That remaining 25%, like I said, everybody's lifestyle is different. The numbers will be a little bit differently skewed, right? But right around 25% are going to come from your non-exercise-based activity calories, right? And the thermogenic cost of just you digesting and burning off your food, because it does cost you calories to burn calories, right? Non-exercise-based activity. What is that? Well, that's going, those are your steps throughout the day, right? Those are walking to and from. If you have a more physical job, like for example, I work at the gym, so I'm walking around back and forth, lifting up some weights here and there, nothing too crazy, but that's just like non-exercise based activity. If somebody was a warehouse worker or, worked in a trucking yard, like they're lifting up stuff and moving it around all day long. If somebody is in a daycare, they're chasing after little kids all day long. If somebody is a high school football coach, they're out on the field walking back and forth, maybe throwing the ball a couple times with their players. If you're out walking around the mall that day and you happen to be at the mall for 3 hours, you're doing a lot of walking, especially this time of the year. Those are the calories you're going to burn off just from going about your day. So what happens is we try to have most people get their weight loss from their non-exercise based activity calories and the thermogenic cost of burning food. We try to make sure you guys eat your your BMR number and your exercise calories, depending on how active you are during the week. But we'll get more into that later on, right? Second number we're going to go over is going to be your dry lean mass, right? Your dry lean mass is pretty much the way I describe it to people. This is what determines whether or not you're gaining or losing muscle mass during your routine, right? I see a lot of people come in, they lose 5 pounds. They're like, Jay, this is great. I lost 5 pounds in my routine. And what happens is they didn't really lose any fat. They lost muscle mass, right? And the way we can tell that is because their dry lean mass number went down. What that number is if you were a dry little pile of dust on the floor, right? If we took all the body fat away from your body, we took all the water weight out of your body, and you were a dry little pile of dust, that little dry little pile of dust is going to have a certain weight behind it. I think mine was right around, where was mine? So I weigh 247 pounds right now, and my dry lean mass number is 53.6, right? That means if I was a dry little pile of dust on the floor, I'd weigh 53.6 pounds. Now, if that number goes up, I'm gaining muscle mass, right? Mineral density. If that number goes down, I'm losing mineral density. So if I'm on a workout program and I'm losing dry lean mass, that number that pretty much means, hey, I'm losing muscle. And if that's not the goal, it's not a good thing, right? And just to give you a visual, let's say you had 2 water balloons right now, right? The water balloon, you're going to have one water balloon full of water and one water balloon that's empty, right? One's obviously going to be heavier than the other because of the water, but the amount of rubber is the same in both water balloons. It's just a matter of one has water in it and one doesn't. That's pretty much what your dry lean mass number is, all right? Body fat percentage, right? Body fat percentage is, we don't really go, even though we read body fat percentage, and body fat percentage is one of the more popular ways to monitor your weight loss. I don't like that number altogether. We are able to do body fat total mass with the InBody sheet, and I'll show you that in a second. But pretty much what happens is this, right? If I have, let's say 40%, let's say I have 40 pounds of fat in my body and I weigh 200 pounds, right? That would mean I have a body fat percentage of 20%. I think my math is right. Give me credit. I lift weights for a living. So if my body fat percentage is 20%, I have 40 pounds of fat on me, right? 40 pounds, and I weigh 200 pounds, the numbers add up. Now, let's say I'm working out, dieting, whatever, and I lose 3 pounds, whether it's from muscle mass, water weight, whatever, right? But not from body fat. So I still have those 40 pounds of fat on me, but now let's say I weigh 197 or 195. Those 40 pounds are going to make up a bigger percentage of my body weight, and my body fat percentage is going to go up. So a lot of times people come in and like their body fat percentages go in a weird direction. They're like, I don't know why my body fat percentage is off. It's because the weight shift, and they're looking at a number that's, it's just representing what percentage of their weight is coming from fat. We like to look at total fat mass. Like if I have 40 pounds and I lost 3 pounds of fat, that's a true loss of body fat. I'm not looking at a percentage. Not a lot of people have access to that number. We have the InBody biometric scan at our facility. A lot of you guys have been on it, which is a phenomenal machine. It's really the only way I recommend people get their numbers for these. It's actually the only way you can really get some of these numbers if you wanted to. And what it does is it really truly tells you whether you gained or lost body fat as you go through with everything, right? Calories per workout is the next one we go over. That's real simple. You use your Apple Watch or your Fitbit or your wearable fitness device, and you track how many calories you're burning off through each workout. Because we want to know, what you're burning off in each workout. I have people come down where they think they're burning off 500 calories in a class. You sit there, they're chit-chatting, they're going back and forth, and they're not really burning anything off too much, So they think they're burning off 500 calories, but in actuality, they only burnt off 150, and they're like, well, why am I not making the progress I should be? It's because you're not getting done all the work you need to get done. So monitoring how many calories per workout you're burning, you can start to determine where you should be at in terms of your progression. And then also, like for those of you guys who would have to eat back your exercise calories, you want to know how many more calories you're going to add into your diet that day. And then last but not least, we have a caloric intake and macro allocation, where caloric intake and macro allocation, this is pretty much you tracking your numbers in MyFitnessPal or whatever other nutrition tracking, food tracking app you guys would be using. Everybody monitors the workout numbers, but very few people actually pay attention to what they're eating. And if you sat down and asked 5 people, hey, how many calories you think you're eating a day? Everybody would give you a number like, yeah, I think I'm maybe eating 1,500, maybe 2,000. But then when you sit down and actually add up what they're really eating, you realize it's like oh my God, it's so much more than what I thought it was. Or you don't realize how many calories are in some of the foods you guys are eating, and it's throwing your routines off. So that's why we tell people you got to track your food, because if you don't know what you're putting into your body, you can't expect what to get out of your body, right? And then last but not least, total daily caloric burn. That's how many calories you're burning off throughout the total day. We'll show you how we pull that number in a second. So the first three numbers you can get from the InBody biometric scan. We have that machine, real simple. If you guys don't have one, or if you're like remote and you're not anywhere near us, go to InBodyUSA.com. If you go to InBodyUSA.com, they have a locator on there where everybody who is a facility owner that owns an InBody machine, like myself, we put our name and address and our phone number on there. You can locate an InBody machine anywhere by you in the United States, and you can go there, take a test. The average price for an InBody test, if you're not a member of the facility, is usually like $40. Some places will give you a discount if you go in there more frequently. Definitely worth the money though, because you need to know those numbers, and it will make your progress just go so much faster. Like, just bite the bullet and get it, right? So let's go into the next part. I'm gonna go through my numbers to show you exactly what happened with me, right? So here's what we did. Because we were tracking our numbers, and because we were doing, we were tracking our calories, we were tracking our numbers, we knew our BMR, we knew what we were eating, we had our macronutrient breakdown. Because we were tracking our food and tracking our calories that we burnt off during our workout and tracking what was going on, here's what was able to happen in our routine, right? So for those of you guys who've taken the InBodies before, you can see my overall scores right here. On a scale of 1 to 100, the InBody is very biased for muscle mass. So I have a little more muscle on me than the average person, especially my legs. That's why my score is higher than a 100. But it's a grading score based on 1 to 100, where if you don't understand what all these other numbers mean right here, it pretty much gives them to you in a generalized algorithm. Anything above 80 is good. Anything below 80, you got a little bit of work you got to do. And you can see right here, in a matter of just a couple months, I was able to go from a 94 to a 107. So my score jumped up, I want to say 23, 94 to 104, 10. I jumped up like, 18 points, if my math is right? Probably not, but 17 points, 18 points, just by following the simple strategies that we teach you guys, right? And by knowing the numbers, right? Tracking my food, not making sure I was hitting a certain number of calories every day within a 20% variance, right? And that's the biggest thing right there, 20% variance, guys, because you're never going to have a day where you specifically hit dead on all the time. I think I had one day where I hit everything spot on. The rest of them, I just try to stay within a 15 to 20% variance of those numbers. And that kind of keeps you on pace, right? You see right here, the first number we looked at was my basal metabolic rate. These are the numbers we're looking at when we're planning our routines. When we're trying to figure out how many calories we're going to give to you guys, what we're going to have you eat, all that stuff. These are the numbers we're going to look at. My basal metabolic rate, when I first took my test right here, you guys can see, was a 2243. And then a couple months later, right, 12 weeks later, it shot up to a 2357. That means my body gained muscle and I'm burning off more calories every day than I was beforehand. Now, what happens is if this number goes down, that typically means you're either working out too much or you're not eating enough. And it's a telltale sign where if somebody's coming in, I remember a couple of years ago, we were doing a 5,000 calorie challenge on the assault bike. And we had a member that was coming in, crushing it every single day. And this member, while they were crushing it, they were putting in their work, they were doing the calories, but they weren't eating the right way. And what happened was they lost muscle mass instead of body fat, and their BMR went down. So that was a telltale sign when we said, listen, John, his name's not John. John, listen, man, you got to stop the assault bike. You got to go back to doing some weight training. You got to eat some more calories, get those numbers back up. And we were able to get those numbers back up for him. But, John knew he needed a diet, but he just wasn't. He didn't really understand it until we did that InBody test. He went through the month challenge we did and realized, shit, all I did for the past month, besides from killing myself, is burn off a bunch of muscle mass and go backwards. That's why this number is important, is because it shows you exactly what you need to do to get yourself going in the right direction. All right. Next number we're going over right here, dry lean mass. Dry lean mass, like I said, that's that number where if we had two water balloons, right? And those two water balloons, one had water and one didn't. One is obviously going to be heavier than the other, but the amount of rubber that make up both those water balloons is exactly the same. That's what dry lean mass is, right? You can see right here in the beginning, about 12 weeks ago, my dry lean mass was 50.5 pounds. That if I was that dry little pile of dust in the ground, that's what that dry little pile of dust would have weighed. Where now I have 53.6 pounds of dry lean mass. That means I had a true gain of almost 3 pounds of muscle mass. And that's not even including the water weight and everything else. That's like the dehydrated, if I was just dust, which if I didn't include it because it doesn't really matter, right? But you'd be able to see the jumps in my actual lean mass numbers were like ridiculous, right? But I only go off of dry lean mass because that's the true number. Case in point again, let's say somebody's coming down. Jay, I've been working out, I've been dieting, I've been doing things, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. I want to lose weight. Great. Come down and take an InBody at our facility. We get an initial reading for them, right? A month goes by, we put them on the InBody again. Hey, listen, Mary, let's jump on the InBody, see what you're doing. And if we see this number going down, right, it can mean a couple things. One, it can mean that Mary, Mrs. Jones, whoever the hell it is, let's say Mrs. Jones isn't eating enough protein to allow her body to properly respond to the workout she's doing. She's going to lose muscle mass. And when she loses muscle mass, in turn, she's going to get more body fat put on. So this number would tell us within a month, hey, Mrs. Jones, you're not eating, you might not be eating enough. Let's take a look at your protein. Wow, you're only eating 50 grams of protein a day. That's not enough. Let's up that number. And then just by upping that number for her, not her workouts, not anything else, it allows her body to properly respond to what's going on. She starts making positive progress versus negative regression. Let's say she's doing a shit ton of cardio. Jay, listen, I wanted to get ready. I got a wedding coming up. I started doing an hour cardio every day, but she's not eating enough to sustain that, right? She's doing cardio, eating ice chips, and just barely eating. Okay, let's say that dry lean mass number went down. We would be able to ask some questions to figure out, hey, you're doing too much for your body to respond to. Let's tone it down a little bit. Jay, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Mr. Jones, do it for a month. Do it for like 2 weeks for me. Everybody will try everything for 2 weeks. We do it for 2 weeks. I got a girl we're working with right now. Real example. This girl is strong. When I say strong, it's, very athletic physique, but just very strong and likes the strength she's seeing. But she wasn't making any progress, and her caloric intake was like 900 calories. We put her on the InBody, and it turns out that she needed to eat like 2,500 calories a day. Now, I know if I go to any guy, girl, it doesn't matter, and I say, hey, in order for you to lose more weight, you got to triple your calories, you're going to look at me like I got 3 heads. So what I said is this. I said, Susie, her name's not Susie, right? I said, Susie, listen, do me a favor. Do it for a week. Let's take an InBody. We'll try it for a week. We'll do another InBody a week later. We'll see what the numbers say. If I'm right, great. We double down on it. We keep running with it. If I'm wrong, we go back to doing it your way. Fair enough? And she was willing to do that for a week, right? And what we realized after a week is that I was right. I mean, I knew I was right, but I had to convince her I was right. So what happened after that is we did it for another week. Okay, we still made positive progress. We did it for another 2 weeks. And now we're on week 3, week 4. We did tape measuring, pictures, the whole 9. We're just trying to convince this individual mentally that it's okay to eat more and you're not going to get fat. That was this person's biggest concern, is I don't want to go back to being the way I used to be. And we were able to show her over the course of a couple of weeks through the numbers that everything was working in the right direction, and they're making killer progress. I mean, so much progress is ridiculous. So at the end of the day, guys, when it comes down to weight loss, physical gains, everything like that, there's 2 things that don't lie. Little kids, they're vicious, and the numbers. And the numbers will always steer you in the right direction. So you can see right here, once again, with the dry lean mass number, depending what happens with this number, you'll see, am I eating enough? Am I not eating enough? Am I doing too much cardio? Am I not doing too much cardio? Am I working out too frequently? Am I not working out frequently enough? It will always guide you in the right direction. All right. Let's keep moving on. Number 3 is going to be that body fat mass. You can see right here in terms of my fat mass, right? I went from, you can actually see the muscle mass here too, right? So I went from, you see that, you guys can't see it, not the circle, the one right above it. My skeletal muscle mass went from 108.9 pounds of muscle to 115.5 pounds of muscle. So I had about a quick math, 7-pound gain of muscle, right? That's the hydrated muscle, not the dry little pile of dust. In terms of my body fat, I went from 60.5 pounds of fat. I keep a lot of fat in my midsection. I went all the way down to 44.4 pounds of fat, right? But if you look at this number right here on the scale, originally I weighed 251 pounds and I only went down to 247. And I want you to think about that for a second. I weighed 251 pounds, right? And I only went down to 247. Now, what would normally happen if I wasn't doing the InBody? If I wasn't doing these numbers, if I wasn't following this system, I would probably say to myself, oh, shit, I've been doing this for 12 weeks. I only lost 3 pounds. Is it really worth it? Should I be doing this? Nah, you know what? Screw it. Let me just go do a bunch of cardio and starve myself. And I end up losing all the muscle I put on there. But because I'm able to test my numbers, because I'm able to see exactly what's going on, and this is why the InBody is such a crucial tool for you guys, I was able to see that even though I only made a difference of 3 pounds, I was able to put on 7 pounds of muscle mass. I was able to lose almost a little more than 15 pounds of body fat. And that's where that huge swing in my weight difference came. And I made that 22-pound difference because I was able to properly test my numbers, right? So that's why we're a huge fan of fat mass, because I mean, even though my body fat percentage went from 24 pounds down to 17.9, I got to be honest, I thought the machine was broken when I first stepped on it and I saw it. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. But it was true. I looked at the pictures. I'm like, oh, shit, it's right. So the numbers will always tell you what's going on, right? Calories per workout. This is where we pull this number from. We use the Apple Watch because what we have. Some of you guys have Fitbits, the MyZone fitness system. Some of you guys have the, what's the new one? There's a new band that you wear. I can't think of the name of it right now, but any of the wearable fitness devices. Almost not, even if you have the old heart rate monitors, right? Most fitness devices will have a way for you to track how many calories you're burning off during the course of your workout. If not, there's simple charts you can find on the internet. We have them in our new client survival guide. If you guys don't have that, let me know. We'll get it out to you. Where I was able to see that during my workout today in class, the class we had, it's an hour class, Friday mornings, 5:30 with your boy, yours truly. I burnt off 654 calories in a matter of an hour and 5 minutes. Now, there's some days where I'll burn that off in like 35 minutes. There's some days I'll burn off 800 or 900 calories in an hour. I think last Saturday, because my wife always gets mad at me when I burn off so many more calories than her. She gets the notification to MyFitnessPal. She's like, God, how do you burn so much more than me? What happened was I would burn off 1,050 calories in an hour and 15 minutes. Certain workouts burn off more stuff, right? But now what happens is this, right? Think about this for a second. If I burn off 1,000 calories, but I only think I'm burning off 300, I'm putting myself in such a huge caloric deficit where it might be too much, where my body says, wow, rather than reacting positively, I might react negatively and start losing muscle mass because I'm not eating enough to sustain it. Going back to the girl that I was talking about before, Susie, right? Susie was burning off like 4,000 calories a day. Susie was doing my AM classes. She was coming back doing the evening classes because she really enjoys working out. Susie was going and playing soccer for one of the local adult soccer leagues, and she was burning off damn near 4,000, 5,000 calories a day some days, and she was only eating 9,000 calories. Now, the kids got fucking great genetics, so she was maintaining her muscle mass, but she wasn't making any progress, especially for the amount of activity she put in. So because we were able to bring her down, have her start tracking her calories that she's eating, have her start tracking her calories that she was burning when she was working out, we were able to find the numbers for her to be able to balance out her workout with her nutrition plan. So this way her body was able to positively start responding to all the hard work she was putting in. As a matter of fact, we were able to pretty much, so far we doubled her calories, we cut her workouts in half, and she's starting to make progress again, like good progress. But this is where we pull that number from the Apple Watch right there, right? So you pull that number, and what happens is if you have your Apple Watch, like I said, we use MyFitnessPal, your Apple Watch or whatever other tracker you use, 9 out of 10 times they all sync up. It'll save these and send them right to your MyFitnessPal or your tracker app, and it'll give you an idea. Like you'll see on the next screen. I think it is the next screen actually. Right here, you can see how in MyFitnessPal, right? For today, I have my base diet of 2,000 calories, right? I go a little more aggressive with my caloric deficits. I got a lot of body fat I got to burn around my midsection. I hold a lot of visceral fat. Right here, it added back in, you can see that, the second purple arrow, it added back in my exercise calories. So I'm going to have to eat a total of about 2,800 calories today. And I got about another 1,600 to go. Where if I didn't work out today, I would only have to eat those 2,000 calories. So it shows you how you have to adjust your diet to stay within your range to start getting positive results. But it all comes because I know my BMR, so I was able to properly set my daily caloric intake, my baseline intake. I know what I'm burning off throughout my workouts. So this way I'm able to put that inside of there. I know how to track and monitor everything because I'm looking at my dry lean mass, my fat mass. I'm looking at my BMR. I'm seeing all those numbers. So I have my intake and I have my output numbers, and I'm able to see from a 360-degree perspective what's going on in my routine, which tells me exactly why or why not something is happening. And when you take all the guesswork out of it, guys, it really makes it very simple. I got to tell you, and look, a lot of you guys, most of you guys know me for a very long time, so I'm not shocking you guys telling you this. And then for the rest of you guys who are just getting to know me right now, between the tattoos and just the way you hear me talk on some of the videos you do, I don't think I'm shocking anybody telling you guys this. I've tried everything, the good, the bad, the legal, the illegal. You can take that whatever way you want, to try to lose body fat. I was a fat kid growing up to the point where, you know, it bothered me so much that, you know, I'll get into my personal story another time, but there was a period in my life when I was really young where I actually thought about like hurting myself, like really, really badly, like permanently over, right? Because I was a fat kid that fat kids got picked on. And being a fat kid in the 80s wasn't fun, right? So for me, losing weight and being in shape has always been like a super big priority for me. But I always held myself back with my food because I was so afraid of becoming fat again and going back to the way I was, and just all those years of just childhood trauma and emotions and just pain that was associated to it. I was so afraid to increase my calories, where now, you know, having learned these principles and applying them to myself and everything else, you know, all that bad stuff that I tried doing before, I don't have to do any of that stuff anymore. I just work with my calories based on my program and my numbers, and I get better results doing this than I did doing all the bad stuff, because no matter what I did with all that other stuff, and I used to work out for 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. I would do 2 a day some days. That was all great and dandy, but I wasn't giving my body what it needed to properly respond to the workouts. And I think that's the situation a lot of you guys are in right now, where maybe on a smaller scale, but you guys are putting in the work, but you're just not giving your body what it needs to properly respond to the work you're giving to it. And if we just found some numbers, we can give you a little bit of confidence to try something different for at least 2 weeks, and a way to test yourself to see if those results are actually positive or negative, and adjust what we need to adjust. And that's why these numbers are so important, right? Caloric intake, and then number 5B, we're going to go down to my macro allocation. So we work with a little bit more of a unique macro allocation. For most of our clients, especially our weight loss clients, 50% of your calories are going to come from protein, right? You're trying to burn fat, which means you're trying to get rid of excess glycogen from your body. Fats and carbohydrates are glycogen-based macros. So just by naturally lowering down the amount of energy-based macros you're taking in, you're putting your body in a position where it's going to have to tap into its natural glycogen stores more, your fat cells, to be able to give you the energy that you're burning off from what you're taking in versus your total burn. So I'm burning off right now about 4,500 calories a day. And that's with about like 6 hours or 8 hours of computer work all day. So like if I'm on my feet, I'm burning 6,000 calories over the course of the day. But because I am taking in my food and I'm taking in a lot of protein and I'm doing my stuff, that gap, that caloric gap that I have there is coming from my fat cells. And that's how I was able to make that big difference, because I wasn't just giving myself carbs and fats. I was taking in a lot of protein, right? And it was keeping me full, it's keeping me satiated, it's helping me maintain my muscle mass, but it's also putting my body in a state where it has to tap into those fat stores to be able to burn off excess fat, right? So you see right here, I have my, and one of the biggest things we do with our accountability coaching and our fit coaching program, guys, is we teach you guys how to do this stuff. It's a 3-step system. The first thing we do is we give you a very simple, easy to follow meal plan system to have you start getting results right away. Your macros, your numbers, your portion sizes, they're already all worked out. So literally you take the program and you follow it the way it's written and you start getting results. The second step of that program is to start teaching you why you're doing what you're doing. Hey, here's the reason why you're having this food here. Here's the reason why you're having this food here. Here's the reason why you're having this portion right here. So this way you start understanding the method behind the madness, and we start showing you when you're like, Jay, I don't understand. I'm over on my carbs today. What can I do to fix it? We start saying, hey, here's what you should do. Take this away from here, take this away from there. We start teaching you the third step of the process, which is how to do this stuff on your own and how to eat outside of that meal plan. So this way now you're not stuck to some kind of guideline every day. It's just a lifestyle where you learn how to eat and train the way you want. Like for my particular meal plan, I'm required to eat 2 cups of rice every meal in the beginning of the day. So like 3 times a day. So that's like 2, 4, that's 6 cups of rice. A lot of rice. I also like eating chicken thighs versus chicken breast. I personally hate chicken breast. I like chicken thighs. It tastes way better, but it's got a lot of fat inside of it. So one of the things we do, teach you guys how to use MyFitnessPal, teaching you guys how to monitor your macro allocation and your calories, and showing you the concepts of doing this stuff to be able to make the right swapping decisions on your own. Somebody like myself, I would say, listen, Jay, here's what you do. Those 2 cups of rice, we're going to cut that down to half a cup. So those extra calories can account for the fat calories in your chicken. So now you're still within your caloric values, you're still within your protein values, your fats, your carbs, and you make progress and you lose weight. And that's exactly what I did to make that 22-pound difference, is we teach you guys how to make the proper swaps and substitutions to be able to stay within your guidelines. So when we say, hey, listen, you want to have 50% of your calories coming from protein, 25% from carbs, 25% from fats. You can see my numbers are a little bit off right here, but my protein's almost spot on. And that's what we teach you guys. So this way you never need another coach, trainer, or program ever again. And we basically show you how to retake control of your weight, your health, your strength, your fitness. We teach you how to retake control of that stuff and put it back in your own hands. So this way, if you want to make a change, you know exactly what you got to do. You're not guessing it anymore. Basically, we're trying to get you off the wagon of gaining and losing the same 5 or 10 pounds over and over and over again, like most people do. Right? Let's keep going with this. Number 6, daily caloric burn. This is the iPhone version, right? I'm a very big fan of the iPhone, Team iPhone forever. Some of you guys have Samsung, some of you guys have Android, some of you guys use the Fitbit app versus the MyFitnessPal app. Every single app almost has a way to figure out where your caloric burn is. As long as you're wearing your wearable fitness device, try saying that 5 times fast, throughout the course of the entire day. Wake up, put it on, go to bed, take it off. Wake up, put it on, go to bed, take it off. As long as you're doing that, you're going to get a pretty good idea of what your daily caloric burn is, because your watch will be tracking, at least the Apple Watch does, it'll be tracking what your caloric burn is and what your metabolic rate is throughout the entire day. So what happens is, for the watch, right, go to your Apple Fitness app, you click the little box right here that says activity, right? And then what you do is you go down, this is what the screen looks like. There's a small little number right underneath here that's circled on the side of the blue, where that'll tell you how many calories you burnt off for that particular day. So you can see here, on this day, I burnt off 45.67, right? The next day I burnt off 45.08. Then I burnt off 45.33. And then I burnt off 45.80. And yeah, 45.80. So you can see that's what I'm burning off on average every day. So now that I know if I'm taking in 3,000 calories by the time I get my BMR and my workout calories in, because I make it a point to burn 600 calories minimum every single day, daily non-negotiables, that'll be another video. I know I got about 1,000 to 1,000 to about 1,500 calories spread in my program. So I know I'm burning about 1 pound of body fat, true body fat, every 2 weeks ish, depending on how much I'm burning off. So, you can make your plans a little more realistic, knowing what those numbers are. So when I'm like, oh my God, I got to eat 3,000 calories, that's so much food. If I'm going in here and I'm seeing day after day that I'm burning 4,500 calories, in my mind, it makes it a little bit more mentally acceptable to try to do that program for at least a week or two, give myself a chance to see results through the InBody test and buy into the method behind the madness. All right. It's the whole point behind this, showing you guys where to pull your numbers from so you have confidence in trying the things that will get you to the next level. Right. So let's go over again what these 6 numbers are. The first 3, you guys need an InBody test for. Like I said, we have an InBody test at our facility over in Fairfield, New Jersey. The average InBody test, if you're just going in and you're not, for members with our facility, if you guys are members, we're just giving you this shit for free. It's part of being a membership. Thank you for trusting us, right? If you're not a member or somebody, I have a lot of people calling me up for InBodies all the time. It's $40 for a test. That's kind of like the standard rate. You can go to InBodyUSA.com and they have an InBody locator on there where, like I said, all the facility owners that have InBodies, like myself, we have our name on a registry, so you can go in there, find an InBody. I had a girl call me up. She's working with a trainer, remote trainer online, right? We do that too. And her her trainer wants her to take an InBody so we can get these numbers for her. He uses similar numbers. And she saw that we're in Fairfield. She lives in Cedar Grove, which is right down the street. She's coming in on Monday to do her InBody. She'll take that piece of paper, bring it back to her trainer, and well, she'll take a picture and send it to him, and he'll have the numbers he needs to do all this stuff for her. That's, you know, the most important thing is having these numbers. It takes all the guesswork out of it, guys. It makes it so you can start seeing results right from day one almost. I'm sorry. So we have our BMR, basal metabolic rate. That's how many calories you're burning off on a daily basis just to be alive. That's about 50% of the calories you're burning throughout the course of the day right there. Dry lean mass, that's going to help determine whether you're eating enough or not eating enough, doing too much or not doing too much. Body fat percentage, same thing. That'll give us an idea of whether or not you're doing too much, not doing enough. These three numbers, guys, if I see somebody whose BMR, dry lean mass, and body fat percentage all go down, I know they're under eating and they're overtraining. And based on what happens with these three numbers, it really gives me an idea of what we got to change in that person's routine. It's almost never the workout stuff. It's never the exercises, all right? Your exercise is more like everybody's so focused on like the workouts and like the exercises. Like, unless you're a bodybuilder or like you're trying to get a specific muscle bigger, it doesn't matter. It's what you're putting into your body and how many calories you're burning off. That's where probably, I'm going to say 87% of your results are going to come from, right? Last two numbers, calories per workout and your caloric intake. You're going to get that from your watch or from your phone. Your calories per workout, you'll get that more than likely from your wearable fitness device, and your caloric intake and macro allocation. That's just from the data you're entering in MyFitnessPal or whatever other meal tracking app you have. Daily caloric burn, you'll also get that from your watch and from your phone. It's a great number to have because it gives you confidence in the fact that when your trainer or coach comes to you and tells you you pretty much got to double or triple your caloric intake, when you see how many calories you're burning off, hey, you're eating this, I want you to eat this, but you're burning off this, it makes that number a little easier a pill to swallow, all right? So guys, I know we just went over a lot of different information. We'll probably go over this again at some point in the future. I saved the presentation so we can go over it. I'm actually going to make that extra slide and throw it in there so we can do it another time. But like I said, if you guys need help finding out your numbers, couple things you can do, especially if you're local to us and you want to pop in and do an InBody, we can totally get all this stuff for you, right? You can either text us at the phone number listed above, 973-554-3412. That'll give you right to that's one of my mobile numbers. Just shoot me a text message. Let me know, Jay, listen, I want to set up an appointment. I want to figure out my stuff. What do we got to do? If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, points of interest, funny jokes, anything like that, same thing, reach out to us. Either myself or one of the coaches will be able to reach back out to you, help, answer your questions, give you whatever clarity and guidance you might need in this particular situation, or just help point you in the right direction for whatever you need done to start moving where you got to get to. You can also email us at info@jasonfitness.com, or just drop a DM in Facebook or wherever else you see in this video and reach out to us. And we'll make sure that somebody gets out to you, starts getting you at least pointed in the right direction. All right, guys, that's all I have for you in this video. It was a pleasure hanging out with you guys today. I appreciate you all checking in. I tried making these as short as possible, like I always do, but you know me, I like to talk around my mouth. Guys, like I said, with our accountability and our fit coaching programs, this is a huge part of what we do. We also do a mini version of this in our 28-day challenges. But one way, shape, or form, this is, if you're looking to make any kind of real lasting change in your routine, and like I said, if you're tired of just gaining and losing the same 5 to 10 pounds over and over and over and over again, and you've never taken the time to do this stuff that we just talked about right now, this is going to be what gets you to the next level. And it's not like it's going to be something that's going to be on your brain every day and you're focusing on it and it's driving you crazy and you're hating it. It'll be something that becomes part of your daily lifestyle that you don't even think about. And then one day you wake up and like, oh my God, there's a 22-pound difference in my body. That's the point we want to get you guys to. And this is going to be how you guys get there. All right. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Once again, if you have questions, drop your boy a DM. I will see you in the next video. Drink water, stay motivated. I'll see you guys at the gym.